Have you moved out of the big city seeking professional advantages in smaller places? Well, you're not alone. More workers are taking advantage of their remote jobs and leaving metropolitan areas. But a fresh new study shows that it may end up hurting your career. Consider this. A paper from the National Bureau of Economic Research suggests that being outside of a big city may make it more difficult for you to find another job if you end up being let go by your employer. Let's bring in Aki Ito now. She's a chief correspondent at Business Insider, where she wrote an article on this trend, and you have personal experience, which you discussed in your article. I want to start with that because you discussed that you felt some of this when you moved from San Francisco, one of the most expensive places for any of us to live. So firsthand, what was it like for you?
Well, I got a new job during the pandemic that allowed me to work completely remotely. So I took that opportunity to move out to Sacramento, which is a much more affordable place, much quieter too, which I really liked. And I tried to make it work there for a few years, but as I was driving into San Francisco every once in a while, I was realizing that I was coming back to Sacramento with better story ideas. I was just running into people, a lot more potential sources who were giving me a better idea of what was going on. Economists call this knowledge spillovers, and it's really important for knowledge workers to be running into their peers in big cities. So that was one of the reasons why I ultimately decided to come back to the Bay Area.
That's remarkable. And I understand as a journalist why for you in your career path, that may be more beneficial to be in a big city. But you also discuss, based on this new research, that living in a big city can be a type of insurance just in case you have a major life change or something happens with your employer. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so there's this study that you just talked about that found exactly that. Where you live really, really matters. It's about having a lot of options or not a lot of options, depending on where you are. If you're in a big labor market, that means that a lot of employers want your exact skill set. But if you're in a small market, then there are only a few employers, so you're much more likely to have to settle for a lesser job. And you're also much more likely to have a harder time finding that next job as well.
And we should note that the general trend is still that people are leaving big cities for smaller, more affordable places. But I wonder if your experience, being emblematic of what a lot of people are going through, may push things in the opposite direction. Do you have a sense of when things may level out?
Yeah, I do think the exodus is gonna end pretty soon. The economist who co-authored that study, his name's Enrico Moretti, he said that he really feels that people underappreciated the benefits of being in a big city in the pandemic. But he thinks that people are going to realize those benefits more and more as people start to lose their jobs, or as people start to look for that next job. 'Cause maybe they're bored of their existing job. So I do think that the exodus is going to end in the next few years, and we're going to see these big cities, San Francisco, New York, LA, resume growing again.
Aki, Aki, at least you had the experience, right? Sometimes you need to lose something in order to appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today from San Francisco.